if you lose due to said things, because it's for fun at the end of the day, and you're putting on a great show.
Exactly. There's no prize to be had other than, whatever bragging rights you feel like you want to throw out there. But, it's for the love of the rando. It's for the fun of it. It's just good, clean fun. And we're going to start some good, clean fun right now.
All right, off we go. So we won't have a sword this time around. You can tell that by the uncle walking out of the house. We do get a bee in a bottle.
Poor uncle's been keeping the bottles hidden.
Interesting, hiding them away. All right, so we will get one of 6 choices here for a weapon. Bombs, the Canis Mario, the Rod of Burna, the bow, the hammer, or the fire rod, just due to us already knowing we can't get the sword.
I always kind of hope for bow. What do you hope for usually?
I myself like to see bombs, because then you can see what the runners have practiced. But bow is a good one, but hammer this time. Hammer is especially nice. It's a melee weapon. You don't have any ammo. It does have a finicky hitbox. Oh my, it's a mirror.
That's pretty sweet. I'm kind of smelling an early Dark World already, but it's still too early to tell.
Definitely. I love seeing mirror before heading down to like Princess Zelda, because then you're going to see like a 520, 530 escape.
It's very situational, but for those who know it, it actually can shave off a lot of time in the early going. Some people know it, some people don't.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, just walking up the castle again takes about a minute in time, so it is nice to find.
And Link there, good knowledge of where the hearts are, recovering fairly quickly from that little low health spot.
Yeah, exactly. And looks like we get a ton of rupees in the first chest here inside the castle.
Won't have to worry about bottle vendor checking CAC, and when they go to Zora, that's going to help out a lot.
Right, exactly. More rupees, the better early on, I'd say. You also might need to buy bombs on your way out of CAC, kind of thing. So,
yeah, our racers are going to hope for bombs on the way so they can check back of escape and not have to run it back in. But we'll have to see what the item drops hold for us, because those two are actually randomized in our randomizer here.
Right, exactly. Item drops are definitely an interesting thing, because if you don't know that they're randomized, a lamp out of the one chest you can't get lamp out of in vanilla. But for item drops, yeah, if you don't know that they're randomized and you're trying to farm something forever, there's a point where you actually can't get said item, so...
And a couple things with the hammer too, it also does tempered sword damage, but unlike some of the starting weapons that Uncle could have, you don't have to worry about a magic meter with this one, so you can hammer away in the morning, in the evening, at supper time, whenever.
Both runners on an even playing field, getting smacked in the face with that ball and chain guard. And instant mirror, very nice to see.
Yeah, like you said, that shaves off a good minute and a half at least, just getting out of the basement. So that's very helpful.
Yeah, it's always nice to see a runner get out of the escape sequence at about 6 minutes or so, but we should be seeing them get out at about 5:20-ish, I think, would be a decent time.
Yeah, you still get a little bit to wade through, but with the rats and stuff having some different drops too, and the snakes, this would be a good little place to farm for bombs here.
Oh, definitely. Lots of ropes in here, as well as rats in the next few rooms, so lots of chances. Oh, 5 bombs. Wow. A 4-bomb drop and a 1-bomb drop on SirLinkalot's side.
If Quizbow doesn't find any bombs here, that could very well be an early lead for Link.
Very true. And you never know when that power glove is going to show up, so maybe routing is going to have to make you come back all the way through the escape sequence, which would not be enjoyable.
Yeah, Quizbow going to be careful, only down to half a heart. You don't really want to die at escape. That's kind of a setback there.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not sure if there's any hearts in the pots down here, so... Oh, there is one! Just enough.
That's all you need, at least for the 3 hearts, because the rats and the keys there, they don't do much damage.
Yeah, exactly. And SirLinkalot using those bombs they found, finding the map, the power glove that I was talking of, and the red rupee. So I feel if Quizbow doesn't find a bomb in this next room, they're going to have to come back.
That's gonna stink right there. And hey, look at that clever use of the bee there. That's not something you see. And
Gets
that
an
works.
8 bomb drop.
That worked out amazing. Holy cow.
Definitely fantastic there, getting a bomb drop. Absolutely amazing.
Especially after the last second. That has got to be a relief for Quizbow right there.
Yeah, especially after opening that glove out of there, you gotta feel good. And 100 rupees out of the sanctuary chest.
Church fund donations. And we have 3 different crystals in the light world. There's a red crystal at Eastern even, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and with seeing the lamp early, that puts in at least 2 items in Eastern that you can loot out. As well as, if you're to find the book, you could access Desert, depending on if that is bootlocked or not. And we actually have access to most of Death Mountain already.
Yeah, that is pretty exciting. Yeah, you have the power glove, you have the lamp. That could be a pretty hefty suggestion on which dungeon to do first.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you can access Hera already at this point in time. Of course, a normal standard route, you're going to head through Kakariko and potentially go South Shore. But, I mean, I'm almost tempted to just run up the mountain.
Yeah, I would not blame them at all. They could find a lot of things there. There's a lot of chests to check out in Kakariko too, so it's totally worth going and check out anyway.
Right, exactly. Tons of things to be located everywhere at this point in time for the runners to go. A standard route is generally what you'd find people doing.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if either of them deviated a little bit to go do Death Mountain first before doing Mini Moldorm Cave and Ice Rod Cave, just for the chest density.
Oh, 100%. Considering if you're to go South Shore, you get the 2 items at the dam, the 5 inside Mini Moldorm, and then the 1 at Ice Rod Cave. Where up the mountain, you have the Old Man's item, you have 2 on Spectacle Rock, 2 in Hera, as well as like 7 in Paradox Cave and 1 in Spiral Cave. That's a lot more items, all like in a pathway.
Yeah, and that doesn't. This combination of items doesn't usually happen, so this is rare, and they should definitely take full advantage of it.
Definitely. It looks like Blind's Hut's only giving us some rupees and some bombs. A little bit of love.
Them thieves ain't what they used to be, I tell you that much.
Yeah, just a little bit of money and stealing love. Not too thefty.
They at least have right now enough to go out and get Zora. Of course, we're checking Bottle Vendor first, but 100 rupees is pretty quick to make up in a randomizer.
Definitely. You never know when you're going to stumble into more rupees. I've noticed a lot more that it's earlier on that you'll find more rupees rather than later, so...
See, there we go. We just made back half of it. Even though we haven't spent it yet.
And now there's the other half.
Boy, you calls them like you sees them, don't you?
Yeah, definitely. That was more than half, too.
And pickpocketing the vendor's bombs. I love it when they grab the item from behind like that.
It's very hard to make eye contact from behind.
Exactly. And let's see what's inside Crazy Chicken Lady's hut.
Potentially some chickens?
Better than chickens. It's a shovel. Who can dig it?
I mean, in vanilla, at least it would lead to a duck.
Yeah, that's true. And Rando, well, it's too early to tell what it's going to lead to, so... But now with that bottle, Sick Kid is on the table. Let's see what he's got. Bombs. What are these kids playing with nowadays?
I mean, explosions are fun, right? Something about cool
Yeah,
guys not looking at them.
And there's the Ether Medallion. Could come into play. We'll have to see. Still too early to tell on that one.
Definitely. It's nice to see medallions early, though, just so you don't have to worry about collecting them later on.
Yeah, because once you start thinking about like Mire and Turtle Rock, if you have to do that, then having to hunt those medallions down is like needle in a haystack.
Right, exactly. And now, with having Death Mountain open, but having the shovel, I'd almost feel the south route here is more appealing, because you'd be ending on like a screen over from the dam, so it's almost worth it to just go and do that instead.
Yeah, I think that's what Link is going to do here, and possibly Quizbow as well. It's not that far to jump it over to, and then you can always just save and quit and go into Death Mountain via Sanctuary, so not a bad idea.
Yeah, exactly. Less save and quits, pretty much the better. It saves a little bit of time there.
Personal space invading guard, but we just get another big 20 for our efforts.
Doesn't even take it to get the Zora money. Unfortunate. I'm sure they'll get enough by the time they head up there anyways.
Oh yeah, of course. I can't imagine why they wouldn't. I mean, you can get a big 20 just from as an item drop, so that's possible.
Right, exactly. And looks like Quizbow's doing the exact same route here.
For those of you fairly new, not an actual item 20, but just a random collectible 20. Park container there, and nice use of the mirror so you don't have to go back and reset the room.
Yeah, mirror literally coming in insanely handy in this run so far, making escape faster, making a check for a couple items here faster as well.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite, probably one of my favorite glitches here. If you use the mirror while it's in a moving state in this mode, it actually deletes the block, and it kind of has the funny sound effect as kind of a little bit of humor.
I love that sound. It's one of my favorite in the entire game.
You're the kind of guy who just equips the book and just presses it repeatedly for the sound effect, aren't you?
Yes. 100%.
You're crazy.
See, I also like when I don't have the flute activated yet, I'll just run to Kakariko pressing it.
Yes, you crazy person. And
Ooh.
There's our sword finally. And our runners are going to high-five in a minute. That's bringing some hype there. We got a sword, we got half magic. We got some nice stuff here to start.
I can definitely agree on that part. Getting a fairy as well, having low heart still, early game, of course, and green mail. So if they were to go into the dark world soon, it wouldn't actually be too terrible.
Yeah, indeed, because you got a couple of nice buffers, and then all you really need is I think you just need the Moon Pearl at this rate.
Yeah, exactly. Moon Pearl is all we need for Dark World access, with having Hammer as our starting item, so...
Yeah, so I don't think we're going to be seeing Aga today.
Unless it's on the pyramid. That would be the only case.
And wouldn't that be a hardcore troll from the seed?
It's definitely a possibility, but with so many item locations available, I almost want to say I doubt it, but I know that'll come back to bite me, so...
Yeah, it's kind of one of those I say it with 95% certainty, with the 5% being, what does Rando feel like doing today that's totally mean?
Most definitely. And SirLinkalot now heading up to Death Mountain, it looks like.
Yeah, good call. I mean, you got all the right items to get in there. Gosh, I haven't counted all the items, but you got well over 10 items, as you explained. So
Yeah,
I'm looking
exactly.
forward to seeing what's there. And then plus Hera access. The only thing they can't really check right now is the Ether tablet, because you need at least the Book of Medora to see what's on it.
Right, exactly. There's 12 items available for them to get. That's, of course, excluding the Ether tablet and all the Dark World items up here, of course.
And then since I can go into a Tower of Hera, there's 2 more items in there to find.
Right, exactly. There's so many up here. Definitely the right call, I'd say, to head up this way. And a Master Sword. And we have Aga access.
And curiously, Quizbow is doing fake flippers to Hobo, which is really not a bad idea in the early stages. If Hobo has something you need, who knows when Link's going to go to it.
Right, of course. And I mean, like, getting Hobo out of the way, I feel, is a decent thing to do. Because maybe you're going to fake Flipper to go to Zora again. But at the same time, Hobo's out of the way. It takes time to get there. Even if you have flippers, it's not even the best way to get there. So,
and nothing but a whole bunch of trash on and in Spectacle Rock. So SirLinkalot moves on.
Yeah, and it looks like Quizbow's going to join him up here on the mountain right away.
And Link getting that left ventricle.
I really like the sprite that SirLinkalot is using here, mainly because of the Dark World sprite being chic.
Spoiler alert!
Yeah, sorry.
Another bottle with a fairy in it. Holy cow, they've got a lot of insurance items, which is great, and nothing to be sorry about. I think we all know at this rate.
Ooh, the basement.
If you haven't at least played Smash Brothers, then, you know, it's like, what rock are you living under?
Yeah, I'm surprised. There are some people that don't know, and they'll play, say, Ocarina of Time blind kind of thing, and that happens. But at the same time, it's been knowledge since '96, so...
And a coffee break courtesy of Tower of Hera.
Definitely, this coffee break is one of the best. Of course, if you mess it up, then you're trapped in a little cage, but...
It's a good time here to... It's one of the only times you can really gather your thoughts in the run and kind of plan your next move with a little bit of peace. So it's a good idea to utilize that time. Never waste a moment in these races.
Right, exactly. I mean, there's so many things to do. You have to be constantly thinking and changing your route the entire run, so...
Exactly, just like we were indicating, hey, maybe going to Death Mountain first, and then we got the shovel, and it's like, no, maybe they should go check Mini Moldorm Cave first.
Right, exactly. I mean, they got a sword out of it, too, so it's definitely worth it to head down that way.
And Quizbow picking up his insurance fairy. I call him that for a reason, especially because I like to keep one just in case.
I mean, sometimes you can be confident and not expect to get one shot, so you'll, like, not drink your potion. But a fairy guarantees that you can be a little bit more confident.
I'm curious to see what the other item in Hera is going to be.
I am as well. Of course, with 2 item locations left to check here, and pretty much being forced to drop down the hole, unless you do a decent bomb jump. And looks like Moldorm is holding the item.
Let's see if Moldorm lives up to his name. Trolldorm is so accurate, not just in the fact that it will knock you off the ledge, but more often than not, it seems to, on its dying breath, want to troll you further, so it very much earns its name. It's not just something we throw around.
Right, exactly. I can 100% agree on that. It has somewhat of a script to it, in which it'll only go in a certain direction. Oh no, not the middle hole.
Middle hole and 1 heart. This is the long walk of shame.
Very unfortunate.
Quizbow taking a death here as well. I think trying to do the death warp, but forgetting about the insurance fairy, maybe?
Yeah, and of course has another one too.
Well, at least there's that. Until I get the bug catching net, kind of want to be careful and save it for Dark World if you can help it.
Definitely saving fairies is pretty. Oh, ouch! Has fairies, so not actually all that bad, but saving them is definitely nice for Dark World.
Yeah, especially if I have to do an early blind fight. Those are never fun.
I mean, if you were to do the blind fight the same every time, you actually wouldn't ever get hit because it's on a set script, but it's also an annoying fight. So unless you're well practiced on it, it's very hard.
And attempt number 3 for SirLinkalot here. Here's hoping. Kind of surprised he's not breaking out the hammer, as it does tempered sword damage. I believe the Master Sword and the Fighter Sword roughly do the same amount of damage on Moldorm, so...
With spin slashes, it'll do 3 hits as well, so it'll do the exact same as hammer, but that last... it was almost a 3 cycle, like 3 spins, but it was a poke instead of a spin, so ended up going to the enrage phase.
And speaking of rage, only a big 20 from Trolldorm, kind of with dying breath. But hey, we got a crystal out of the way about 21 minutes in, so that's not bad.
And Quizbow very quick behind here, getting a quick, easy 3 spins, getting the 20 rupees, and we'll head on over to Paradox Cave.
The cave with the highest item density in the game. Even higher than some dungeons. Or pretty much most of them.
I saw a very shiny ocarina sitting on the floating island.
That may be required if they have to go to Mire. So that's that is an interesting little piece right there. I like it.
At least they're a couple items away from obtaining it. Just needing another glove, as well as the pearl. Actually, I don't even know if they need the pearl, because I think they could Super Bunny it and be able to get to it.
I think they have to drop the bombs in the cave in order to get to that point, so it's...
Right. But you would be in Super Bunny's state, so you'd be able to use bombs, so... I'm just not sure how far you can go.
That's a good point. I never actually thought about that. I like how you think. That's something to try out sometime.
Alright, so at least they need mitts before any of that can happen anyways, so we'll see where those lie.
And there's a nice heart refill at just the right time for Link there.
It was almost like half expecting the mitts to just pop out of one of those chests, but not today.
It's not going to be that easy to get their mitts on the mitts. But Silver Arrows is a great consolation prize, and Blue Mail.
May not be able to get some mitts on mitts, but mitts on Silver Arrows is very wonderful to see.
Yeah, if you're not going to find mitts right away or Moon Pearl, that's fantastic. I mean, once you get the bow, you're going to be mowing down some bosses like a chainsaw.
Oh, most definitely. And now your item locations at this point in time have slowly dwindled. Zora is an option, of course, with having the Power Glove in hand, as well as most of Eastern and Sahasrahla. Agina is also open, but one item way out of the way isn't really worth it.
No, not unless you get some other good things here. But we'll have to find what's in Sahasrahla's closet and maybe find out what that green pendant is. Skull Woods.
I'm always... Oh, Moon Pearl. Hook shot. 50 rupees. I was almost expecting the mitts out of there, but no. I kind of don't like when Skull Woods is a pendant, because then you try to avoid it. And most often, it has an item you need.
Yeah, my own personal quirk running it is that I tend to forget all about Skullwoods. But, I mean, there's 2 items there, but you could find them relatively quickly. And Quizbow dropping some bombs, I think those have letters etched on them. I don't know about you.
I feel a little bit that Quiz was mad at those chests, but I would be pretty happy to find those items.
Maybe they're fireworks. I don't know. We'll have to ask later.
That's possible. But now, having access to Dark World, both runners going, nope, not going in Eastern. Waiting for that bow.
Yeah, it's a good call. The only thing that would stink is if, and this is the worst thing to have happen in Rando, an item is in its vanilla dungeon.
It's always possible. And both runners heading up to Village of Outcasts for the original entrance to the Dark World here.
And, yeah, just shy of entering Dark World, 26 minutes. Hopefully we'll be getting a map check by one of our runners here, and, oh, here we go.
There it is. Pendants on Swamp and Ice, Red Crystal on Thieves Town, and of course Green Pendant is in Skullwoods.
Well, nice. They may not have to play around with that bomb jump. Turtle Rock and play not too bad. We got some good stuff here. So with Meyer is a crystal, if I remember seeing that correctly. They are gonna have to go back to Death Mountain and grab that flute a little later.
Correct. As for now, we get ourselves a red boomerang out of the C-shaped house, and Quiz is actually going to do a little bit of different routing here and go straight into Skullwoods.
Not a bad idea. I mean, get the 2 items and leave, and then yeah, there's one of them already. As far as pendant dungeons go, Skullwoods isn't a bad one to dip in to find stuff real quick. It's fairly short.
Right, exactly. As for now, SirLinkalot going into Thieves Town, a dungeon that's fully completable. Having Hammer, not going to be afraid if something gets locked in that big chest or not, so...
Yeah, even though Link only has 7 hearts, I think there's enough safeties there. I think it still has another fairy too, but I think there's going to be enough to eke out a victory here, I think. I'm pretty confident about it.
Yeah, I can definitely agree with that, and he does have another fairy in his arsenal.
And
Ooh.
flippers added too. Hey, I like it.
That makes a nice check on Zora now, being able to access all 4 items up there.
I think I like it too, because I know, let me see. They have everything they need to go to Swamp, so could that hint at having to go in there as a pendant dungeon?
Oh, that would be very unfortunate. I mean, holding 6 items in Swamp, there's always a possibility of something you need to be located there. But at the same time, Pendant Swamp is never fun to traverse.
No, I've seen a lot of things though where either Pod is the play or Swamp is the play, and the other holds just a lot of Jack. So it could really go either way. It could be a red herring. It could be good.
Yeah, that's definitely true. Of course, I feel most people would go to a dungeon that's required first over something that is kind of out of the way for them.
Yeah, you don't want to go into pendant dungeons unless you don't really have a lot of other options on the table. Problem is, it could be just what you need, or it could be the worst waste of time you have.
Right, exactly. But you never know until you find out, of course.
And the compass, so I think we have all the dungeon items in play now, so it should be just smooth item sailing from here for Link.
Right, exactly. It should be 3 easy items to collect for the rest of the dungeon. And
Quizbow going over to check Graveyard Ledge.
Very, very intriguing. I'm excited to see what actually lies here. Having access to it really early on as well, so...
It's a good idea. If there's something in there, then you have that advantage because Graveyard Ledge is often forgotten about.
Yeah, there's actually been a few races that I've watched that the Titan's Mint was here, and they've had to walk this insanely long path due to not having it.
Just a heart container here, but, you know, health is always welcome at the early stages, and speaking of which, hello, heart container.
Can't complain about hearts, especially when you have to go across the Dark World. Of course, having that blue mail makes things a little bit easier, but can't complain.
Yeah, blue mail, 8 hearts for blind for Link. That's helpful. And Quiz, if he goes in there too, will be even more an advantage.
Right, now it'll be interesting to see if SirLinkalot decides to go up into Skull Woods first before heading off to do Dark World locations. Of course, having a large quantity of items being located in the southern path, you'd mostly expect people to head that way first.
Yeah, I would imagine, at the very least, hitting Hype Cave would be good. And Blind Pun today. Oh, Blind, you are near and dear to my heart.
I'm very happy that they decided to code in like puns and funny quotes. Kind of lifts your spirits a bit when you're about to get murdered.
Exactly. That's why I should ask the creators if I can add in a couple. And oh, Blind showing that he is not all fun and games, so using that last fairy. So Link's got to be careful here.
Yeah, 1 hit left. Easy peasy. Can use some iframes there and knock down Blind.
And just 50 rupees for the trouble, but crystal number 2 in hand is always a great progression item. And that is the other red crystal, actually. So once you can get into Eastern, Fat Fairy will be able to be checked.
Definitely. Just all depends on where that bow lies for Eastern's completion. And it looks like Quizbow's going to do the same thing here. Head off into Thieves' Town, probably right after the chess game.
Yeah, you definitely want to find like bow like sooner than later because it could be almost anywhere. It's almost as bad as the ice rod.
Very true. It's been interesting to see how the logics have changed. Background version 18 to 20-ish, it was ice rod is the last item you find. And it's always required, of course. And then after that, it went to you'd find ice rod within the first 10 minutes almost every seed. And now we're back into that. You need to find this item again.
It ebbs and flows like the tides of nature.
Not too many digs this time around. Only 4 digs.
Kind of nice. It's always a bummer to have to dig a bunch of times only to find like a big 20 or something crappy. So that's kind of a relief there.
Yeah, and for those that don't know, it'll be between 1 and 30 digs, and that'll be the same for both runners.
And we're going to get a Stumpy check here. Just a bomb upgrade from Stumpy, and I imagine K45 is right in our future next.
Yes, having Mirror on the southern route makes it a lot nicer. You don't have to come back to this one-off location at all.
And I've seen a couple of races where it's held something for Go mode, so that's well, it's not Go mode item, but red mail is beautiful to have.
Yeah, definitely cannot complain about that. Being able to tank a lot more hits.
Never required, but it's hard to say no to defense.
Yeah, exactly. You can be a little bit more reckless, etc.
Some people in Go mode may really be on defense about it.
Oh.
You're welcome.
That's a good one. I like it. All right, everyone, place your bets now in chat. 1 to 10. Is this going to be hype or not?
Hyper Grape, order now.
I want to go with like a 4, but I also want it to be nice.
And a little surgery on the little thief there. Fire Rod, hey, it's progression. Well, it's progression if you have to go into the back of Skull Woods for something, but you know, and if you have to go into Ice Palace as well. So Fire Rod, okay, fine, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. I'll say that's pretty decent. We know from Quizbow's side that Quizbow got 1 item out of Skull Woods. The second item is actually locked in the back half, so I'll say that's decent to find now.
Yeah, it's gonna be kind of if anyone goes out to check out back there afterwards. So it's pretty up in the air. And I think we're getting an island check. I didn't see anything what was on there before, so it's just a piece of heart.
Yeah, not too good, not too bad. Can't complain about hearts, especially if you're blind checking it, you're right beside it, might as well take it. And then SirLinkalot is going to go up to Hobo and collect a full heart here, I'm pretty sure.
A lot of love floating around Hyrule. It's kind of a happy place in some respects.
Most definitely. Who doesn't love sword slashing, flute playing, swimming, everything?
Almost sounds like a crazy version of the Olympics here. And gotta wonder too if Link, I think, might be on his way to check out the waterfall and Zora.
Yeah, definitely. Being able to go to Hype Cave and then instantly transition that into Zora, since it's so close by to do those checks, very nicely done.
Yeah, a lot of the races I've come for, I have seen pretty much most of them be life lessons, so I'm kind of curious if that's going to be the case on this one too.
Definitely a possibility.
Well, there's a cane, but it's a cane of Burna.
I don't think we'll be seeing too much of that so far in this this run, unless you go to, say, Spike Cave. Pretty much the only boss you would really use it on would be Blind, and that's already done.
Yeah, and finding the flippers.
Alright, now will Zora be a life lesson? Or is it going to be useful?
And ooh, Quizbow eating a fireball from Blind, but thankfully with one more insurance fairy on the table, coming back into action. It's not different at all, is it, Steve?
That is some tasty explosives from Zora. Not worth.
The richest bombs in the world, are the most expensive, and Quizbow finally taking down Blind at just the last possible bits of health. And that's got to be a relief right there.
Definitely. Getting another crystal into their name. And now we'll see where SirLinkalot is heading off to. I'm assuming pyramid check, maybe a catfish, or right into pod. Or are we heading south?
Oh, it could very well be.
Is this? Oh my.
You know, I gotta admit, it's not the craziest of plays. There's 6 items, could very well have something, and if Quizbow wants to avoid Swamp Palace like the plague, and SirLinkalot finds something here, this could be a game changer.
Oh, definitely. Say if Bo was here, and your choices are Swamp or Pod, this would be the play to make, because then you wouldn't have to leave Pod to come back here.
I'm excited. I'm down. It's a gutsy pendant tip. I like it.
Alright, 6 items to be had within this dungeon. And now Quizbow is also going to be sporting that red tunic.
We'll all be seeing red now, won't we?
I mean, I can't complain. Nice defense.
Hey, I ain't either. I mean, red nail's great.
Speaking of red, we get a nice big 20 rupees.
I've seen some matches where those 27 possible big 20s have just popped up one after the other to troll, so they can be a very trolly item themselves.
Yeah, exactly. When you're hoping for an item, all you'll find is rupees.
It's like you want to chuck them back in there. It's like, no, I don't want this.
At least doing this dip, having all the items to complete it if necessary, it'd be nice to clear it out of the way. Potentially, if Argus has an item, maybe Ped could come into play later on. Who knows?
Yeah, because, I mean, Ped ain't dead yet, so I know chat's going to be really excited about that.
Chat's always excited about Ped.
Chat is out for blood as always. Speaking of that hookshot grab, too, I was taught something really interesting, that there's a chance, another big 20, but there's a chance if you pick up one of those hearts that the enemies drop with the hookshot, you could get healed for 2 hearts with it.
Interesting.
It's a little known fact, but I've actually experienced it myself, so that could help in a pinch.
Alright, SirLinkalot doing the back in the swamp first without checking left. Has only pulled out 220 rupees so far, so 4 items left in the dungeon. You pretty much want to hope that, like, the compass and the map are located on that left side, or say one of them's in the big chest, and you don't have to ever go back to get those.
And that would be a beautiful thing. Rando doesn't tend to be that nice a lot of the time, though.
You are correct. Oh!
Time for
that
Go ahead.
That is a cane. Most definitely.
Phantom Ryu, if he's watching, is probably going nuts right about now.
So, you are correct in the sense of... And a hot Cheeto. I mean, cannot go wrong with that. Having progression here in the Pendant Swamp, it's the play to make.
Yeah, because you do got to get in the mire, and you do need Cane of Samaria to get through it. So that gamble turned out to be beautiful.
Yeah, depending what the last 2 items here inside Swamp are, really will like depict how long it would be before, say, Quizbow would come here.
And another big 20 from Catfish. I think ask for trolling 20s and you shall receive, I believe.
Pretty much one of the only items we've seen in this seed so far, I would say.
And just a few more sword slashes. Argus is a pretty easy boss, so it's a nice breath of fresh air.
Dropping some explosives. And now there's 1 item left in Swamp. Does SirLinkalot gamble it? Or does he go back inside?
My philosophy is, and I probably don't share this with a lot of others, it looks like that's a no, but you might as well full clear it if you've gone through all that trouble, just in case, because it's that one thing you leave hanging that's going to have something else that's vital.
Right, exactly. That could have been the bow, could be the ice rod that we are still in need of. We're also still searching for that Titan's Mitt to get the flute.
Plenty of possible locations to check still. It's starting to narrow a little bit with all the items, but we're We're not too far away from things now.
Now, is SirLinkalot going to go and do the Skull Woods play now? Going from one pendant dungeon to another?
If you can complete it, you know, why not? I mean, hey, the gamble paid off first here, so I kind of doubling down here. It's a really gutsy play.
Yeah, definitely. Of course, it is also the green pendant, so there will be 3 possible items you can get out of Skull Woods. We have seen the first one. Pretty sure it was bombs, but the second one is located in the 3rd section of Skull Woods.
And it is very possible. I think it's around an 8% chance that Sahasrahla could have progression. So this could be a required thing as well. You just don't know with Rando.
Right, exactly. So I can definitely respect the play that SirLinkalot is making here and diving in to Skull Woods. And yeah, it was bombs there for the first item.
And Quiz is actually making the same play into Swamp, amazingly. So they've got some pretty like mindsets going on here.
I mean, there's nothing on the line, really, I would say. So why not make those riskier plays? And it just so happens that those plays themselves are paying off.
That is a good point, too. And Quizbow going to find red disappointment here in just a moment.
It never feels good when you have pretty much all the rupees you need for the seed and you're still getting more. But, I mean, you can't complain about potion money or something like that, but...
Yeah, once you pretty much spend everything you need to, that's about the only thing you really need it for. But thankfully, Quizbow is going to find red happiness and orange happiness, so get to really taste the victory of Rainbow.
Right, exactly. And now SirLinkalot gonna head off to Mothula's chambers, I'm sure.
An interesting thought, too. If they do have to dip into Ice Palace, there could very well be a blind pedestal pull here.
That is definitely possible. Being a Titan's bit away, so you never know what'll happen. Now, is it going to be the dream of Skull Woods where Mothula has the item and the green pendant? Or is our runners going to have to go and check under the bridge?
I don't expect Rando to be that nice. I think they're going to have to check under the bridge.
I feel like I'm going to agree with you on that.
And Linkalot kind of getting some extra items. Not a bad idea. And sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, it just looks so nice having half magic for this part, because you could just fire out everything.
Yeah, and those Gibdos, they hit like trucks, and they take forever to kill, even with Tempered Sword. So that's, it's nice to be able to throw that around with Went and Disregard.
Right, I think it's about 3 spin slashes to kill one with the Tempered Sword. I may be wrong, of course, but it is a lot.
And yeah, quick couple of hits there on Mothula, but Mothula up there, high possibility of being knocked into the spikes and taking no damage from your weapons. So it's a very dicey fight in more ways than just what you see here. Right,
exactly. It's not too hard of a fight when you think of it. Oh, we get our item. Not too hard of a fight. But of course, just having the glitch of knocking Mothula into the spikes, dealing no damage, it really unfortunate. It looks like Quizbow is actually going to do left side swamp here, so we're going to get to see our 6th item.
I'm feeling hype, and funny enough, Skullwood's only holding bombs for both of its items, so hopefully, Sahasrahla, if he turns that in later, which she probably will, hopefully Sahasrahla has something other than bombs.
I'm almost expecting a bomb upgrade to hold all the bombs, so that's what I'll go with.
So nothing there, and it's all down to this chest. Just a shield, so pretty wise skip there from Link. But I always like the shield. At first, it's not very, it's not that great, but if you find progressive upgrades to it, it's pretty dang viable.
Definitely. If you're walking around with a riot shield, it makes things a lot easier in, say, Ganon's tower with the mimics.
Yeah, I say it once and I'll say it again. Spitting is a dirty habit, and nobody likes the spitting from those red mimics.
So, unless that green pendant pays off, or it is a pedestal, Skull Woods is not the play. But, of course, when you can complete a dungeon, why not do it, kind of thing.
Yeah, if you're kind of running out of options, having to dip into pendant ones, not desirable, but you kind of, the quicker ones aren't that bad. And stuff like Skull Woods, if you got to jump into it, that is just, you're probably thinking, ugh, why do I have to do this? I am wasting so much time.
Right, exactly. And something worth noting, neither runner has entered Eastern yet. I'm almost hoping for a vanilla bow.
But now Quizbow finding progression, so Kane is definitely a good thing. I couldn't come up with a real singer for that one, unfortunately, but hey, cool.
Unlucky. I mean, finding 2 really good items here in Swamp, you can't go wrong with that. And of course, going to be able to knock out the pendant dungeon here, just in case you need it later.
And we still have to knock out Pod at some point anyway, with that being another crystal, so, it's a good opportunity to find good stuff.
Now, is SirLinkalot going to go and check Catfish first, or head down? Looks like Catfish is the option here.
Unfortunately, Link is just going to find a whole ton of disappointment. Quizbow making some nice quick work out of those Argai there.
And 2 quick spin slashes here, and the fight will be over.
Making Argus say Arg, and it's over.
Catfish paying for the food you've given. And I fully expect Pod Eastern to be the options here now, seeing what's left on the table. Of course, could always go into Desert, not the dungeon itself, but the desert, and check Agena.
I would wonder as well if any of our runners are going to go up to Death Mountain and grab that flute.
That's true. Of course, they need the Titan's Mitt in order to do so, still.
That's right. I keep forgetting that's Titan's Mitt locked sometimes.
Yeah, just due to the access of the Dark World. But, oh, speaking of the desert with Agena, here we go.
And Link's going to find some more disappointment on the pyramid.
More 20 rupees.
Try as you might, run as far as you cannot get away from the 20 rupees. But Quiz getting 10 arrows, which is just as useless right now.
Yeah, exactly. Looking for... I would say the bow is one of the most hype items at this point in the game. So, it's definitely something you want to see earlier.
And Link making the pod play now. I can agree with this. It's even if it is bow, if you're going to get bow locked very easily, and it is. There's still a lot of items to check and find, and who knows, bow could even be in here.
Right, exactly. And with having mirror, can check Eastern as well, and pulling out mirror here to turn in that green pendant.
And there is always a way to... oh, hey, Bombo's medallion. That it could be useful, but if they have to go into Ice Palace now, it's going to be more helpful than ever.
Right, exactly. If that turns out to be one of the medallions we need, that'll be 2 pendant dungeons that are required.
And then watch one of them be Quake, and then they have to run around further.
Oh, that would be one of the most unfortunate things.
But yes, Skullwood's definitely giving us bombs, and bombos, so I smell a theme.
I can jump on board with that theme. Explosions are cool.
Boom, boom, boom. Now let me hear you say wayo.
Uh-oh. Kiki the monkey not liking that Quiz got hurt there. So gonna take extra money.
That's always such a pain right there. It's not a big time loss, but it's really, really annoying.
Right, exactly. And it's not even like Kiki got hurt, it's just you got hurt and Kiki didn't like it. So instead of like sticking up for you, is running away.
No more monkeying around, Kiki. Do your job.
Yeah, we're paying you to open the dungeon. You don't have to like it.
But yeah, it's both. I think our runners are definitely being steered in kind of a linear fashion here.
Right, exactly. And depending on if they had a potion or not, they could do the potion glitch if they were to know it, and that way they wouldn't be bow locked other than to get to Halmasar King. But other than that, you never know.
I don't think they have anything though.
Right, exactly. So I'm pretty sure they've used their fairies at this point in time, and no one has restocked on anything. I'm pretty sure I saw Quizbow actually buy a red potion at one point, and he does actually have one in his inventory.
Could get him ahead, but we'll have to see if he uses it just for that purpose.
Yeah, I mean, it is an expensive potion to be using. Especially since most progression isn't going to be locked behind at this point, I feel. Anything locked behind the bow or the bow itself can't be back there.
Oh look, more big 20.
And that's a big 300. I'd say that's a little better than a 20 at least.
I'd agree, and I think that the big key was in its vanilla location, if I'm remembering correctly.
I believe so.
Too much rando, not enough vanilla lately, but that does mean Link's gonna have to go back to check that that chest there.
Right, exactly. So overall, not seeing too much here inside Pod.
Yeah, they still need the bow to complete it. Still a small chance, but it's kind of dwindling at the moment. And some anger pulls from SirLinkalot. Now, some people do pulls, some do slashes, some do bombs. What do you do?
I'm a puller. I grab the closest wall. Shows the frustration on whatever sprite I'm using's face.
I am also indeed a puller, so that's close to my heart right there. It's a very good indicator of frustration.
So we're missing the 2 chests on the right side that are bow locked, and the big chest for the item locations left. Is it going to be here?
Well, hopefully let's get some hype.
Other than this, I think Eastern is the only play to make for progression, which is interesting since that has been available since Escape.
Indeed, either that or yeah, they gotta check Spike Cave. They can check Spike Cave out too. It did have Titan's Mid on a very recent comm that I did, so it could happen again for Rick's commentator luck at play.
The sync bow find. I like it.
High five, high five, high five. I think if they knew that they got it right at the same time, we would be hearing lots of slaps. So, no, it's not bow locked anymore.
That makes this a very nice play to make, because you can finish pod and head right into Eastern, fully clear that out, and then move on.
And it's great they found it there, too, because I would have a feeling they're thinking, oh, it'd be nice if it's bow, but there's probably going to be something crappy. And then all of a sudden, boom, hey, it's bow. Sweet. And now they can use those awesome silver arrows.
Another nice thing that the randomizer does for you is it automatically switches you to silver arrows.
Yeah, I think there were some previous versions where that wasn't the case, if I remember correctly.
Correct. And it was very, oh my, we have the best oven mitt.
Got their mitts on the mitts, folks. And wow, both pod and swamp having decent progression.
Definitely. And of course, if Bombos comes into play, that means Skull Woods is also needed. But we won't know that until we see either TR or Meyer.
I'm getting pretty stoked now. They're really close to go mode now, I think.
Right, only missing a few items, and it all depends on what is actually needed, which is the interesting part. Book is not needed anymore. We need Ice Rod, as well as boots are a potential requirement, you never know. As well as whatever medallion is needed. It could be Quake.
Yeah, so it's a lot of situational. It stinks, though, that the one item they need is the one that could be anywhere. We talked about it before with the Ice Rod. It's been a mean one. I've seen that in Batcave in one seed, and boy, was that just a mean place to have it.
Speaking of the Batcave, we've only seen one fetch quest so far in the seed. I'm wondering where the others are going to turn up.
Could very well be anywhere. Could even be in Ganon's Tower, where it's not even necessary.
That is also very true.
And Quiz being the first to tackle Helmasaur now.
17 smashes to the face with that hammer will do the trick. Or you could get decently swaggy and use 3 bombs. It'll do the same thing, but a lot harder to do.
Yeah, the timing's going to be just right on that, and it's a lot slower overall.
I can definitely agree. And Silver Arrow's making this fight a joke. 1 shot to the head, done.
Golgo 13 style. 1 shot, 1 kill.
Definitely very interesting to see how in sync these runners are now, being side by side.
Yeah, they are so neck and neck. I mean, right now, they're pretty much the same items, and just a few seconds behind each other.
Of course, there's one major difference between the 2 runners at this point in time, and that is Mothula's death. But that's not too much time to do, so overall, I'd say this is a very even race.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, if Bombos is a requirement, it could leave Quizbow scratching his head a little bit. But yeah, for now, it's even Steven, and there's our first item, which is another heart container.
Right, and with finding Bow and Titan's mitts, and having this dungeon accessible since the beginning, I feel there isn't going to be too much here.
I don't think so either, but Rando could prove us wrong.
That is true. It is Rando, of course.
Sometimes it has good logic, other times it's got a logic that works but leaves us scratching our head a lot. And there's a second of 3 items already.
So, a heart container, as well as 300 rupees? What is the next one?
If it's Ice Rod, there's going to be a big sigh of relief for our runners here.
Very true. Having to search around for Ice Rod is never fun. It could literally be anywhere. Other than Ganon's Tower at this point in time, or on Trinex.
And the nice trick there, getting only 2 Stalfos to pop up. Kind of tricky to pull off sometimes, but it's nice to have to kill less to open the door.
It looks like we get to see ourselves the back end of Eastern here. Having that compass in the big chest, there's a possibility that the 3rd item is locked over here, so it would suck to have to come back to get that if you were to gamble on the boss.
Yeah, it's not too far out of the way. It's like might as well grab it, as Benjamin Franklin once said, "A stitch in time saves 9," and it's a perfect quote for these rando runs here, because knowledge is power, and also getting it before your opponent.
I can definitely agree on that.
And the map, so it is on the Armos Knights, which are not going to take very long to clear with the silver arrows after all.
Right, exactly. 6 quick shots with that bow will do the trick.
Interesting thing, it seemed that the heart container they found was actually the sanctuary heart, so that was the fulfill.
Very true. It always feels nice to get a refill in a dungeon. But of course, being Eastern, not too hard of a dungeon to complete, but still always nice.
And if you did need the health, right before entering the big key door, you can always jump into one of those vases and grab a fairy or 2. Not usually vital, but it's good to know these little secrets in case you need them.
I'm always never a fan of Igors. They have very fast feet, so if you miss them, you have to try again afterwards.
And bombs is the last item, which Quizbow shows us after a very clean finish.
And there's now a lot of locations open to us at this point in time. We now have access to Pyramid Ferry, as well as all the locations on Dark Death Mountain. So it'll be interesting to see where they head to next.
I would imagine with the flute, yeah, I think Quizbow's doing it with the flute on Death Mountain. Here, I think that that's going to be the place so they can get into Mire, and then from there, it'll be interesting to see where that goes.
Yeah, I can definitely agree to that. Getting the information, oh no, getting dead rocked, that's never lucky. Getting the information you need to see what you need to complete the seed, that is pretty much the best option you can do.
And those dead rocks, those I don't throw around the term troll very lightly anymore, but Moldorm and those darn things, I throw it with complete disregard because they are. If you had to replace Hobo with something living under a bridge, I would put it at that, and I'm pretty sure that eats goats as well.
Now, if you're climbing Death Mountain here and you see that TR has a medallion that you already have, do you make the dive and hope that, say, Ice Rod is in it? Or do you place your bets elsewhere first?
As far as I go, I want to go elsewhere only because if I can save Turtle Rock for last, then it's just a quick hop, skip, and a jump over to Ganon's Tower. And finding the book there was very nice for both Quizbow and Linkalot, so they can check they can do a tablet check now. But what about you?
I myself would do the exact same thing. I would open it up if I saw I could do it, and it is Bombos, oh my. That means Skull Woods is also required.
Boy, oh boy, are we hinting slightly at Ped here, Mr. Turtle?
I mean, if a required item, say Quake, is inside of Ice Palace, and that is required for Mire or something like that, and maybe Ice Rod on Ped, who knows?
Yeah, so our pendant dungeons are getting more and more required. This is, it's almost silly. You know what'd be just mean? If you had to get all the pendants, but there was nothing on Ped.
That's very true. It'd be very entertaining to see that.
You can just see the seed stroking its goatee at that one.
Alright, who here in chat is ready to hear the Swag Duck Anthem? Of course, with having Book, we'll have to wait a little bit. Most likely gonna see both runners heading off in that direction.
And we now have access we'll have our access to Mire, so, boy, I'm kind of curious where, what Quizbow is going to do here now.
Right, exactly. Of course, we know where Bombos is lying, so it'll be interesting to see when they finally decide to head back to Skullwoods.
And just bombs on Ether Tablet. Quizbow, I'm kind of curious when if he's gonna just wait and do it once he's exhausted all other options, or if he's just gonna make the gamble back there when he goes to pick up the duck, so the duck can pick him up.
That would be a quick pick-me-up, and then we'll see if Mire is required or not. Quake is required or not for Mire. But a few item locations left on the table, a lot of things to do, and then we'll see what dives are needed.
And Spike Cave really having a point, but no point to it.
It's almost like a bed of nails, but for your feet, and I don't see a point in it at all.
It's like the worst kind of acupuncture you can have.
A lot of people like to dash through there. That would hurt a lot, stabbing your feet many, many times.
Unfortunately, our runners don't have the boots right now, so they're running as fast as they can to get a duck.
Alright, everyone, rise and salute the Swag Duck. You may now be seated.
Fly the Swag Duck skies, everybody. We are gonna be all aboard soon, I think.
We think. Where are we going, SirLinkalot? Where?
Link's just making a fool out of me now. Why you do this? Why?
What was forgotten over here? Oh, the smithy route. That is definitely a thing they can do now, so...
Yes, I almost forgot about that myself, actually. But Quizbow diverging, going to Mire now. So we'll actually get to see what the medallion is for Mire.
Murder Dactyl, no pain at all, and it's Ether.
Vanilla Ether, so we're not going to have to worry so much about Quake, but Quiz is going to have to worry about Bombos, and after a particularly useless Skull Woods. That's probably not going to be on his mind, but Fire Shield is a nice thing to have.
Right, exactly. Again, it'll be interesting to see when they head back there. Of course, with many other things on the table to do, at least the item they need is what gets them in to TR, so they won't be searching TR for that item. Ooh, boots.
Yeah, you always want to run and do those hammer pegs, but you have to do the hammer pegs solo to earn your boots to do it. And it's just getting overcomplicated now.
Very true. Alright, so now with having both Desert and Mire fully completable, of course Quizbow might need those boots to do Desert. We'll see them tackle Mire here first.
Ice Rod could be in Desert, but it's a good idea. This is what Quizbow's doing. I would make the same play too. If you can complete a Crystal Dungeon, by George, do it.
Right, of course. I 100% abide by that as well.
There's a murder dactyl popsicle there.
That will surely keep that pond cold.
That's how we teach that thing to chill out.
So, SirLinkalot keeping the portal here by walking through the Dark World to probably check Bombo's tablet as well as hand in the purple chest.
It's a very clever idea. I like that. Quizbow. 2 items in Mire to find, and we're about to find one right here. Just a piece of heart. But hopefully finds those 2 items sooner than later.
So right now, with looking at the items on the table, we are missing Ice Rod for Go Mode.
That is always the single worst Go Mode item to have. Because you're going to full check everything for that one little needle in a haystack, and it's going to be rough. I guess we can get our guesses in on where that Ice Rod is going to be, but ooh, that's going to be hard until somebody finds that. I mean, it's very, very much anyone's game.
Right, of course. Like, that could be located pretty much anywhere.
So thinking of anywhere, you should be somewhere. In fact, you should be giving our runners a follow on their pages, that kind of somewhere. They have been doing a great job for us so far and have provided us an exciting battle. I think it's worth it to give them a follow. They do some great stuff, so you should see what they're up to.
Right now, they're definitely up to some rando, that's for sure.
But in the future, who knows?
And a teeny tiny shield for Link, as well as a little bit of love.
Kind of funny, Link having the Zelda sprite.
I was about to say the exact same thing.
Oh, the irony.
It just kind of clicked in my head. I'm like, wait, Link, but it's Zelda.
This thought confuses and infuriates me.
It's like all those posts you'd see online. What if Zelda was a girl? Well, let me tell you.
But Zelda is a girl.
Exactly. And SirLinkalot heading right into Desert before doing Mire. Pretty much the opposite of what Quizbow is doing. And boots are not required for Desert.
I feel like I smell something in Desert, but it could be just whatever's cooking in the oven.
That is always possible. Considering they didn't have access to Desert for the longest time, getting both book and flute on the mountain in the Dark World, so it is always possible that something useful is hidden here.
You know, kind of a random thought too. Once Quiz ends up finishing Skull Woods, whenever he decides to do it, will he make a ped check?
That is also very true. Having Mirror and Book for that that would seem logical to do at that point in time. Considering SirLinkalot has no reason to really head up there other than just a ped check. It would be quite a time sink to head that way.
Desert kind of proven to be a stinker so far, but with it having a crystal, you gotta complete it. So that's you know, still crystal's the best progression of all.
I can definitely jump on board with that. If you can do a dungeon, might as well do it. And of course, with Meyer being right around the corner too, can knock out 2 right away.
It's a good routing call.
Quiz now at the end of Meyer. A couple of rooms left between him and Vitreous.
And with Vitreous, you'll be doing a little thing I like to call Clear Eyes, because with those silver arrows, that fight just goes so fast you can't help but go, wow.
Right, exactly. It's a very quick fight, and if you do the 0 cycle for it, it's pretty much just gone instantly.
The ironic thing is, in vanilla, you actually have to beat Vitreous to get the silver arrows, so you never actually get to do that in a vanilla game.
Right, exactly. And if you blinked, you missed it. Lenmolas are already dead due to the silver arrows. Pretty much the single most OP item in this game.
That's why we love finding bow and silver arrows early in Rando. At least I do. I love a good OP fight.
Definitely. They just look so clean if you do these fights, like 0 cycled. It's so nice to see.
Ooh, that was a close, far-reaching on the right bolt from Vitreous, but Clear Eyes again, folks.
Now our runners sporting opposite crystals here. And we'll probably see them just swap over into each other's dungeons.
Space Invaders and Bloomerang and Checkerboard Cave, so nothing short of disappointment there.
And here we go on an episode of Trading Spaces. Overall, I did not see anything of significance inside of Meyer. So, where, oh where, shall this ice rod be hiding?
If it actually is an ice palace, it would be fitting, yet just really mean.
Very true. And of course, we don't have any clue on where that could be. It could be on Pedestal, it could be in TR, Mimic Cave, really anywhere that these runners have not been yet.
Now, I think the big question is, too, and you asked about Turtle Rock earlier, but given the choice of a pendant ice or going into Turtle Rock without the ice rod, which would you pick?
It always sucks to have to traverse Turtle Rock twice, but at the same time, you'd want to just gamble it and hope it's there. With having 5 items in the dungeon as well as 1 on Mimic Cave, you'd want to hope that it's there over Ice Palace that only has 3 items.
Yeah, that is it's a really hard call to make.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's a lot of overworld locations left to check too, like the Bonk Rocks and the King's Tome and stuff like that, so...
Yeah, so it's not out of the running yet, but hopefully our runners don't have to make the decision, but if they do, it'll make the match just that much more interesting. Not that that hasn't been not interesting, you know what I mean, right?
Right, of course, definitely.
Seen a lot of really good execution and a lot of really good routing so far. It's what I expected, and I am happy.
Definitely, exactly. Of course, it's a 3-3 match. Nothing really on the line here, other than some great fun to be had.
I know I'm having a blast, and yeah, arrows on that desert ledge there.
Right, and I remember someone mentioning in chat a while ago on how many 4-3s would be moving on. It's between 2 and 4. 4 and 3s would move on, depending on how a couple matches go this week. One of those matches is already done. I'm not sure when the other match is taking place, but I also don't know who won in that match. So all I know is that it's between 2 and 4 players that are 4 and 3 get to move on.
So it's always worth it to just do your best.
Right, exactly. As I say, there's not a whole ton on the line. It depends on how your past opponents are as well. But of course, most people are playing for fun in this kind of thing. So.
Yeah, and it's all about the good competitive spirit, as we saw way back in the beginning with them wishing each other good luck in the names. So, yeah, you know, this is a good, nice rivalry, and I like it. And oh, that Landmola was the one that got away. But still making it an easy fight anyway, so good job, Quizbow. And they'll be getting... So he gets the crystal first, and now, which way does he go? Because Turtle Rock's the only one, and he's got to go into Skull Woods for that one. So it's going to be interesting to see where he decides to go checking for things.
Right, exactly. The saving grace here for Quizbow is you're not searching TR for that ice rod yet because you can't get in TR.
But if it's in TR, that's going to be rough. It looks like Quiz is going to go into Skull Woods now, so I don't think he's going to be that far. Oh, maybe I'm wrong.
This will be the Smith side quest, I feel, from Quizbow now. SirLinkalot has already done that themselves, so now it's time for Quizbow to go on a magical journey.
Come on and ride in a fantastic voyage. Sly, sly, slippity sly. And if those words come true, we may actually be seeing Ice Palace. Maybe I should keep my mouth shut.
Hey, they'll have boots though, so they can stop their momentum at any time by pushing A.
That is a good point.
I mean, they could always push B as well. They could go a lot faster.
Quizbow will be going a lot faster soon enough.
Very true. It always sucks to do the hammer pegs without the boots, but when boots are locked behind the hammer pegs, you have no choice.
The boots are fashionably late, folks.
And now with only one crystal left for both runners here, of course, SirLinkalot at the end of Meyer to get their second last one, but still searching for that very shiny mystical ice rod.
That shiny ice rod is also elusive. Its luster will not help you find it.
That was a very nice zero cycle on Vitreous there for SirLinkalot.
Game, set, match, and Vitreous is going to be left crying for a while. Longer-ish. Roll with me here.
It got a chunk of, like, wood covered in silver stuck in its eye. I think it'll cry a long time.
Ice cream and sadness.
This looks to me as if Quizbow is heading off to do the Pyramid Fairy now.
Not surprising for me. It's a good idea.
Definitely. Or not. Bombos tablet?
I think when you're looking for Ice Rod, you always think because it could be anywhere, it's more likely to be in those one-off locations. At least that's the way I think.
Yeah, I can definitely agree on that. Because it can be anywhere, it doesn't have to be grouped with something else. It is its own entity, and it can be literally wherever you want it to be. Generally not where you want it to be, but at the same time, we will find it eventually.
Yes, if it's where you want it to be, you probably want it in the uncle's chest, and we're finding the bug net in King's tomb. So the king, I think, was maybe a butterfly fanatic.
Did he go jellyfishing a lot? Maybe that's what that is.
Well, with all those Bari that seem to be hanging around, that's not out of the question.
Alright, now we're gonna do Pyramid Fairy.
And I think SirLinkalot has the same idea, so let's see.
They got the bow near in sync. Will they get the ice rod near in sync?
I might find it near Backstreet Boys, but you know, that's because you can find it anywhere.
Alright, alright. I can get with that.
The thing I love about the Super Bomb 2 is that hilariously, I always point this out every time, but it's just so weird that it does no damage when it blows up in your face, and yet regular bombs do.
It's definitely very interesting. Quizbow keeping distance though.
And let's see if our Ice Rod is in here. No, but Powder is.
So do you head right back to the Mad Batter then? Is that the option?
Possible. The Ice Rod was the major player item in one of the matches that I commentated at Batcave, so it could be possible I'm seeing a repeat.
Of course, Quizbow gonna head off and do the King's Tome as well as the Bonk Rocks on the way. And we'll see where SirLinkalot decides to head next.
I don't mind the bug catching net maybe as much as other people. It is mostly a junk item, but it's always handy if you do want to collect an insurance fairy for like Ganon and stuff like that. And uh-oh, guards! Zelda's kidnapped herself. Fraud.
It always feels bad when you're just dashing mindlessly through Kakariko and you run into that text. Takes a lot of time, but you do get some nifty music.
Indeed, and you gotta love how it's like this oh my gosh panic music, but yet it's like the weakest guard in the game.
Right, exactly. It's like 2 slashes with a fighter sword will do the trick. And speaking of swords, we have a butter sword.
I hope Trinex doesn't have heart problems, because if he does, cholesterol is in play. Oh, and hey, look, we're getting a parallel on the guards! Both players are on their guard today, let me tell you that.
Most definitely. Is this what I think it is? Is this the ice dive?
I think it is. I did not expect Link to do... I would expect Link to jump right into Turtle Rock, but definitely I think he's trying to save it for last.
Yeah, I can agree on that part. I'd almost expect to check pedestal first before coming here, but at this point, maybe it'll be a blind ped pull.
I think usually when I pull blind, it does a couple hearts worth of damage.
Yeah, when you get close to blind, it will hurt. Very true.
So now I'm gonna guess that Quiz is making the Skullwoods play.
Yeah, I can agree on that. Heading back into the Dark World in this section with nothing else really to accomplish. With an item being in the back half on Mothula, as well as getting Bombos from that green pendant, will definitely help with the search for items.
And I'm curious to see if Quiz is going to follow in SirLinkalot's footsteps, or if he's going to go make the gamble right to TR if he feels he's behind enough.
You never know where a runner is planning on going. Of course, when you're searching for an item that can be literally anywhere, it all depends on what you want to gamble in the long run.
Yeah, because like I said earlier, that's a hard gamble. It's like, do you go do a pendant dungeon and full clear it, or do you make the gamble that the item you need is in the dungeon that it's needed in?
Right, exactly.
Oh, we're getting a ped check.
There it is.
Get hype for ped.
Nope. Pocket change. Unlucky. I mean, I still could be here inside Ice Palace, making it being all 3 pendant dungeons required, but Pedestal is dead, so Cold Stare might get to live to see another day.
Ped is dead. Dun 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 dun.
Of course, SirLinkalot doesn't have that information, so maybe we'll see Cold Stare meet his demise.
Could very well be. I think it's just a matter of the sooner to find the ice rod is just. It really is a determining factor. I know it's obvious and we pointed it out many times, but I think the real curiosity is just what's next every time. Oh, not quite getting all the torches lit.
Oh, and of course taking that little bit extra time there. I think it's going to be on an awkward loop. Okay, just enough time.
Yeah, you always hate a rude door, so. Speaking of rude doors.
Yeah, the vines did not want to be slashed there, no matter how strong the sword was.
Oh, that was a close wall master almost grabbed there. I've had that happen a few times.
Right.
Never any fun.
It's always unfortunate. Because of this version, you're able to take damage while you're falling, and that includes being grabbed by a wall master.
Oh, and that's just terrible right there. It's like, oh, you want to go fight Mothula? No, you don't. And it's almost like it's grabbing you right from the floor below and saying, no.
Yeah, it's come back here. You're coming with me.
Yeah, that's nothing you give Wallmaster a round of applause for. Not with that kind of hand he's giving you. And Quiz is going to go turn it in and be quite happy to find the Bombos tablet.
Yeah, SirLinkalot finding a blue potion inside of ice. It is a blue item, but it's not the right one.
Everything's blue in the Ice Palace.
And now we're on an even playing field.
Boom, boom, boom. Now let me hear you say, wayo again.
I've not been keeping track of the items SirLinkalot has found.
There are only 3 items in Ice Palace here, and we know we've seen one of them already.
Very true. Quiz is heading up the mountain, going for that TR play.
And Cape is the second one, so this may pay off for Quizbow. This may be the thing that has him take the lead. I can see it, though. I would imagine with Quiz getting the Bombos tablet finally out of another pendant dungeon, he probably feels really behind right now. So him making this play, I don't blame him for it. I might make the same.
I can definitely agree on that part. When you're an hour 40 in, you finally got something after searching for forever in many of dungeons. Oh no, getting dead rocked again. I would make the exact same play here and just try to gamble the dungeon that you need.
And yeah, if Cold Stare doesn't have the Ice Rod, that is looking very likely to be the play to make here. We're going to find out in a second now. Let's get hype.
Oh,
Mushroom! We are still waiting to find out if that's the play. Oh boy, oh boy.
It's getting a little bit intense. Finding some fetch quests, and now I'm gonna have to go do those. Is it gonna pay off?
I have no idea. This scene is getting ridiculous now.
If Mushroom is Ice Rod, that would be all of the pendant dungeons being required.
Yeah, we're not going to find Shovel, thankfully, so we're not going to continue this egregious behavior of Mean Seed.
Nope, okay.
That did not pan out, so it's looking like Turtle Rock was the play to make, and there is a really big chance now that Quizbow has just taken the lead just by doing that alone.
Yeah, exactly. SirLinkalot not finding anything of use inside of, Oh, are we getting a blind pedestal pull for some, pocket change?
Ice Rod. We found it. Go mode for Quizbow at 140, almost 141.
That is absolutely insane. Quizbow now taking the lead off SirLinkalot just due to one gamble. It's all it takes to change the outcome of a match.
And you just never know with Rando, and it really is a gamble. Sometimes it pays off in spades, and otherwise you fall flat on your face, just like that pull. And SirLinkalot, he's got to be so like frustrated with this right now. Just had to do a blind ped pull with no results. Now he's got to be feeling really behind, but, I mean, the idea was there. You can't fault him for doing it, wanting to save it for last, though.
100%. And I mean, if you have the pendants and you're still looking for Ice Rod, you might as well just go pull it, right?
Exactly. Could be there.
He can afford Subway now. He's got that $5.
I do love me some good sandwiches. And a nice getting all four fairies on the one powder thing.
Yeah, it's always very nice to see. And of course, since we're in go mode, just getting that key off the pokey and heading on.
Yeah, get in, get out. The only thing is that Turtle Rock, there's not too much of a time difference between full clearing and going through it completely, but at least you don't have to make any extraneous stops. You don't have to go looking for the... You don't even have to stop for the silver arrows. You got everything you need. Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am.
Quiz making very fast work of TR, now heading off into the back section. And always check the big chest there, just in case a small key happens to be within it.
Just like there, yeah, because you still need keys, but if you can avoid doing the laser bridge, which it's always a pain no matter what, but if you can avoid doing it, avoid doing it.
Right, exactly. Saves a lot of time.
And unfortunately, Quizbow falling for that one there, but can happen to anybody. It's happened to me a few times.
And we're now mere rooms away from Trinex. And we'll see what kind of fight we'll get this time around. Of course, having Butter Sword, that'll make it a very quick fight.
Yeah, I once had to do Trinex with Master Sword and Hammer, and neither one of them worked very well for me at all. So that's going to be a good relief for both of them.
Right. If you were to do it with Master Sword, it's pretty much you might as well use Hammer. And the hitbox is so small on Hammer that it's, why do I have to do this?
Yeah, that's pretty much what I was thinking the whole time. But SirLinkalot still has some chances to catch up, though, later on. And there's Ice Run for Link. But there's still chances to catch up. There's Moldorm 2. There's Agaby and Trolley. There's Ganon himself. And any little thing, it's close enough.
Right, exactly. And Trinex, very, very fast kill there. And now we have a little game to play, Rick. Do you know what game that is?
Oh, you bet your sweet behind I do. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, there are 22 possible locations that the Big Key in Ganon's Tower could be in. If you have donated 250 bits, or if you are a subscriber to any of the Speed Gaming channels, you have the chance to win some leaderboard points. Otherwise, all runners-up will receive a coupon for $5 off Argus's Fish and Chips Diner with a Fish Eat You.
I feel paying money to get eaten by a fish isn't too appealing.
I prefer Cold Steer Creamery myself, but, you know, hey, a runner-up prizes, we don't get to choose them sometimes, so, you know, we work with what we got.
Very true, very true. All right, so quickly get your guesses in. 1 in 22. Where is it going to be today, Rick? What is your guess?
I think it's been pretty nice to them so far, so I'm going to say Tile Room. I think that's 22.
Is probably the meanest choice, but sure.
It's been pretty nice to them outside of the Ice Rod, so I kind of base my guess in the opposite proportion to how the seed was to them. What's your guess?
I like 7, but it's a specific 7, and it's already proving not to be that 7. So I'm going to go with like 14 this time around.
That's fair. What is that usually? That's usually in the right after the hookshot area with the room with the Stalfos, right?
Yes, exactly. It would be the last chest in that room.
Got it. Okay.
But of course, gambling full right here, definitely. I mean, you get 2 small keys, might as well try, right?
Exactly. You do need some extra keys for going up the climb to Ganon's Tower. I made that mistake before of thinking I had all the keys I needed, and then I got a very rude awakening when I went to go fight Moldorm 2, aka who I have dubbed Moldezuma.
Right, and now Quiz actually going to make the call here and now go full left. There's a lot more items on that path, so and you'll eventually end up on the exact same spot. So definitely a good call to make.
It has unfortunately thrown off my count a little bit.
That is 7 there on the torch.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So 22 in this case will still be Tile Room because that was not done.
Yeah, I mean, who wants to take the time to do that Tile Room unless you absolutely have to?
And there it is, chest number 8.
So,
and up the tower Quizbow goes.
So congratulations, if you have got chest number 8 and you are a subscriber, you get some leaderboard points. You also get some kudos points from me. So it looks like Low T, congratulations, you are the first one to get it.
Definitely, congrats. 1 higher than my special number, but of course I didn't guess that number myself this time around.
Hey, that's alright, it happens. For those of you going to eat at the diner, I recommend the peanut butter and jellyfish sandwich.
Does the sandwich eat me, or is it just the fish that eats me?
Just a fish.
Alright. Is it like the old stories where the witch tries to fatten the children up before she eats them, kind of thing?
No, just Argus.
Oh, gotcha.
But
he's a big fish.
Exactly. But speaking of big things here, Link making some short work of big ol' big old three-headed eating Trinex here.
Definitely. And now, depending which path SirLinkalot decides to take in Ganon's Tower, that could shave off a decent amount of time.
And Quizbow in the big gauntlet already, making just blazing right on through.
Definitely. Having half magic, silvers, butter sword, red mail, everything just making this climb very quick work.
I mean, it's just anything you could ever ask for. All that and a bag of chips.
Exactly. Oh, Beamo's giving him a nice laser beam to the head there. But does have powder, can use it on this anti-fairy here, and move on to the next room, where Landmola's 2 awaits.
Making short work of it, but, you know, of course, Beamos wants to say hi, so, you know, that's the only way it can say hi is a laser to the back of the head.
That's true. Doesn't know how to speak. It is just an eyeball, as most enemies are in this game. Or most Zelda games.
Yes, and finally the last Landmola is going down. That one's been kind of eluding Quizbow a little bit, so yeah, with the gauntlet down, we are going to see this floor right here. I dub this a Samaria floor because that's the strat used, and it's always really cool to see.
Right. This one I find a lot better than the last one if you do it right. And I think it's the spike that stops it half the time there, where the one part of the Samaria explosion is going over and just gets destroyed by the spike. It is very unfortunate.
It is. Quizbow showing us here that while a lot of runners will make that room look easy, it is definitely not, and it's something that takes a lot of practice to do. There is no shame in flubbing it. It's very precise.
Right, exactly.
An interesting Link is making that right side gamble too.
And is going to mirror out. It's not going to be the full right side, so we'll do the exact same route as Quizbow.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those things where if you're feeling behind and you get a hunch it's on the right, definitely not a bad move, because sometimes it is.
Right, and if it were to be like behind ice armos or something, and you were to do full right, it's actually faster to do full right. Whereas unless you were to go full left kind of thing, there's just more checks to do. It takes a lot longer to get through it, kind of thing.
And we have Moldorm 2 here, and nice dash to start off with. And
oh,
Moldezuma's revenge, folks. Not a huge time loss, but with Link right hot on the heels now, you're not going to want to waste a whole lot of time on this.
Right, exactly. Link now going to be making the climb up the tower, and things are getting decently tight here. Depending on what patterns you're given, everything else, and how well you can manage those patterns, things could just turn rapidly. You never know.
Oh, you got it. So, yeah, Link's gonna want to be doing some that was a boss shot right there. Another one. That was some really good maneuvering there. And a good double from Quizbow, too. This is what you like to see in the final. It's just the final bout.
And a triple.
Great execution.
One more hit. Oh, the blue ball. Oh, no.
Oh, Aga's not going to make his trigonometry that easy.
So a double, a triple, a miss, and then a single. Off to Ganon.
Surprise, Ganon was behind it all along.
What? Since when?
Didn't you just see?
I feel like this is deja vu, because that 100% a conversation we had earlier.
Could very well be. Or is that Aganim making you think funny things?
I guess we'll have to wait and see.
And sneaking in a hit on Ganon before giving us our fun fact of the day. And with Butter Sword, with Silver Arrows, just the whole 9 yards, this should be a very quick Ganon fight.
Right, exactly. Quick couple hits, we're now on to phase 3.
Now that's probably the shortest phase 2 I've seen in a long time. Good job, Quizbow. And Link almost getting the one turn on Landmolus there.
Oh my, Ganon is just teleporting everywhere. Will not sit in one spot for very long.
That feels kind of like me.
Oh, a little late there on the shot, and also misses Torch Glitch due to that. But
yeah,
never fear, half magic is here.
Yeah, the thing you want to do is kind of let Ganon go away from the bottom side before you light the torches, just so that way he doesn't surprise you and knock you off the ledge, because I've seen that happen a few too many times.
Yeah, definitely. And also with the fire bats there, whatever direction you're holding on your D-pad, the fire bat will knock you in the opposite direction of that. So... But with that, Quizbow defeats Ganon.
And with a sub 2 hour time for Quizbow, fantastic. Get your GGs in there. That was an awesome awesome match for Quizbow there. We still got a bit by SirLinkalot here, so it's not over yet, and we still got some pretty cool moves to see. But yeah, total GG to Quizbow here for officially winning.
Definitely, and Quizbow comes in with an SRTV time of 1 hour, 56 minutes, and 19 seconds. So definitely congrats on that part for Quizbow.
Yeah, with the way this seed threw a lot of pendant dungeons at him. Oh, and there's Moldezuma's revenge on SirLinkalot too. But the way this seed has been throwing them in the pendant dungeons, I'm pretty surprised that it's only been just a 2 hour seed.
Right, exactly. This is a near full clear for SirLinkalot as well, with only a few item locations left to check.
Oh, revenge!
Now, I think the only item locations left that SirLinkalot hasn't checked is, of course, the items in Ganon's Tower, as well as a few locations inside of TR. Oh no!
What,
Moldarm is not liking SirLinkalot at all today.
No, Moldezuma's revenge is a very, very crappy thing to have happen. Whoa, that was almost a close one there. Oh boy, that's Moldarm was not let him get away that easy. Moldezuma, you have enacted your revenge well.
He was just trying to protect his 20 rupees, that's all. And we are joined by Quizbow. Welcome, GG on the win.
Thank you, GG.
Yeah, GG. That was definitely a heck of a play there. How you feeling after this?
Oh man, did it come down to Ice versus Turtle Rock?
It did.
Yep. That was it. I mean, the sigh of relief when I pulled that ice rod out of Turtle Rock.
Yeah, it was definitely a question in the back of our minds for most of that race, and where these last few items were going to show up. And of course, searching for the ice rod of all things seems to be where you need it most.
Right. Yeah, I was really hoping that the ice rod would show up before Bombo, so then I wouldn't have to make that decision, because that is a really tough call to make. You've got on one hand a completely clearable dungeon that that you can dive into, but it takes a long time to get to everything in there. Or you could gamble to go to Turtle Rock, completely clear it out, not find what you're looking for, and have to go do the other one anyway. So I think the deciding factor was just item density. I like to play the numbers, and more items in T-Rock to versus Ice Palace.
Yeah, I can definitely agree on that. Having 6 items compared to 3, if you were to include Mimic Cave, it's definitely more likely to be there. So I can agree on that.
Yeah, it's hard to say too, because either choice is a very viable, but it's kind of like not very good choices to make. It's like, do you stick your hand in a pot of boiling water or into a bag of mouse traps?
Yeah, neither one's a good choice.
A weird analogy, but I tend to
Yeah.
agree with them.
Well, I was thinking, we have boiling water or a bowl of ice water. T-Rock and Ice Palace. But
Yeah, it's a good point, but I had to go with the pain part.
yeah. Well, so up to that point, was it pretty close?
Overall, the only difference was SirLinkalot ended up doing Mothula first. Quite a while before, so already had Bombos in hand. But other than that, it was like when you got Bow, you opened the big chest at the exact same time.
Oh, wow.
Like, it was very close overall.
Yeah, I was happy to find Bow there in the very last chest. I don't like doing Pod Eastern without the Bow, so that was another gamble I was taking. But the way the seed was playing out, there really wasn't many other options for the Bow to be. It was either one or the other. So I just glad I picked Pod first.
And SirLinkalot has finished now. I don't have the official time, but his timer says 2:01:15.
Yeah, the official time is 1 second higher than that at 16 seconds.
All right, fair enough. But yeah, should be joining us soon. This was fun.
Yeah, overall, a fantastic performance by both of your runners here today.
Yeah, glad we could put on a show. I know 4 and 3 is right there on the bubble. So we'll see how the tiebreak goes.
And welcome, SirLinkalot. Congrats on finishing the seed.
GG.
Thank you.
I must say a thank you for doing a blind pedestal pull. It was very entertaining.
Yeah, I was just like, when I was down to it's like either Turtle Rock or Ice Palace, I'm like, I won a race earlier. I think it was actually second week. I won the race on gambling Ice Rod was in Turtle Rock over Ice Palace. And with this seed, both pendant dungeons so far had paid off. Yeah, a lot. So I was like, I'll go to Ice Palace. If it's not there, I'm pulling the pedestal regardless, just for chat. I don't care, even if the Ice Rod's not even there.
Chat, SirLinkalot loves you.
It was definitely very entertaining to see, especially for a measly 5 rupees. I think that's the lowest amount of an item I've seen come out of PED. But overall, very nice.
Yeah, I mean, it was the right color, just the wrong item.
That's very true.
Oh, good, but yeah, that was pretty much the hard choice there from what I saw. It's like, like you said, do you go into Ice Palace or do you just jump right into Turtle Rock? So that's, I don't know if I'm right in saying this, but that's probably one of the toughest choices that you could make in Randomizer. Does that sound about right?
I mean, yeah, it really depends on how you play, because typically I go for the higher density areas. So typically on a normal seed, I would have went to Turtle Rock and gambled it was there. But just with Skullwoods didn't have anything itself, but the pendant led to, I believe it was Bombos, which was entry to Turtle Rock. Swamp Palace had both had a sword and Samaria, So I was like, why not just make the pendant dungeons like, here's Turtle Rock access. We're just going to split it up between all 3. So I was just like, yeah, why not? Let's try it. And if not, I'll have all 3 pendants. So like I said, I can have fun with chat and give them something that I know they want to see.
That's definitely a good way to look at it. Did you guys have any interesting thoughts about the seed overall?
I'm glad to have red mail. Last seed I did, it was a battle of who could stay alive in green mail throughout the entire seed. So happy to pick those up.
And if I remember right, I think you won Master Sword Ganon too.
Yeah, Master Sword Ganon with green mail. It was quite a sight.
Oh my god, that's rougher than sandpaper.
Yeah, not gonna lie. The only thing that made that even semi-tolerable were silvers, but yeah, pretty tough.
Just kind of a random thing I noticed, Quiz. Kind of early on when you found the Moon Pearl and Hookshot in Sahasrarla's closet. Were those bombs anchor bombs or excited firework bombs? I just gotta know.
I at that point I was arguing with myself, do I go up Death Mountain or do I go and check the back of Sahasrarla's hut? And I was just thinking, you know what, there probably isn't anything good back there. I'll go ahead and go up Death Mountain and then come back around and find the Moon Pearl and the Hookshot. It's just kind of like, you gotta be kidding me. So that was a bit of a frustration, but then after thinking about it, it really didn't open up too much because of course I had full East Death Mountain access with the hammer and the mirror. So the only thing that did is it just gave me the Dark World access that I just needed to continue the seed. But yeah, a little bit of frustration there, but tried to make up for it a little later by giving chat the bird toss.
Oh yeah, that was funny. It's yeah, we did comment on that.
The frozen bird in the pond.
A bird in the hand is worth 2 in the pond, folks.
Yeah, that's right. And I think it's karma too. It's like I had a really good, opening room of mire there afterwards. So I think if you have the opportunity to do the bird toss, you got to do it. It really helps your execution.
I will keep that in mind for when I do my practice seeds.
All right, and now with the Swiss stage ending here, do you guys have any thoughts on the tournament for the races that you've had to compete in at all? Anything you want to improve on your own self for maybe the next tournament or etc.?
You can go first, Quiz, if you want.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I think working more on with fewer safeties. So I'm kind of, I like to tank a lot of hits when I can. So then seeds where safeties aren't as readily available are the tougher ones for me. So I think just working on maybe try some OCO strats throughout the seeds. Overall, just certain boss executions. Usually, what I practice for races, I'd like to do Aga 2, just practice my lining up the shots, and mold learn to make sure I'm good with the fights there. So, mostly the execution things that you're always going to do every seed, no matter what. Those kind of things.
And how about you, SirLinkalot?
Yeah, kind of the same execution, especially movement with boots. I know I need to get a lot better with that.